Bottom left-hand side, the blue Terran player is HeroMarine. In this quarterfinal match, so it is just best of 3. It feels like this should be like a semi-final or a final, right? As in the top right, our red Protoss player is Neeb. And I actually say that thinking that this has been a finals in the past. Way back when Neeb won one of these cups. It was cup number 5. Neeb did defeat HeroMarine in the finals. Since then, he got finals second place finish against Raynor, and he had a couple of semis along the way. Then again, he's also not been this player who's played in every one of these cups. Now, I would say that Neeb, obviously, I feel like about a month and a half ago, the story was... I feel like a month and a half ago, the story was that Neeb was a little bit, you know, people were like, oh, Neeb's washed up, he's not doing great. And he wasn't. He didn't qualify to TSL when a lot of people expected him to. It was definitely a little bit shaky from Neeb. But man, if Stay at Home Story Cup didn't show you he can be one of the very best in the world, then I don't know what will. He took Innovation to an epic 5-game series. Put that one up on the YouTube last week sometime, and it was... people loved it. And it really was just an amazing series. If you ever want to go check that out, it's absolutely worth watching. New maps, new patch. It was all there. It was honestly just fantastic match. So that was definitely one of my recommendations. And that kind of... I mean, Neeb just kind of stomped that event until he unfortunately fell to U-Thermal in the group after not quite beating Inno. And it was just that one match where he probably looked the worst he'd looked all weekend. So, yeah, kind of excited to see your Neeb if he's bringing that sort of performance into a match against HeroMarine today. Of course, the Big Gabe weekly, Big Gabe himself here in the quarterfinals. You know, he's been consistently putting out final performances. He got second place last week to Raynor, won the week before against Showtime. The consistency that HeroMarine is putting out in these events is just ridiculous. You know, he's constantly here in the top, 4 to top 8, if not the top 2. So yeah, this is a tough one though. Definitely got the rougher draw here today. As the winner of this will move into the semis to play either Raynor or Kelazur, whoever comes out of that series. As the Pipper comes in, gets a shot on the first probe, and is going to hop down into the center. So Ripper goes into the middle. Stargate is building from Neeb in the main base. Again, that up and running as the SCV of HeroMarine is going to go up the left-hand side. Stalker down to the natural expansion reactor. About to finish up on this Rax as well. I'm just going to see the SCV in the upper left-hand side as our Stargate about to finish up from Neeb. So again, that Stargate completed. A couple Marines continue to build from HeroMarine as well. I'm just going to be seeing our Widow Mine about to pop out of the factory, and the Starport going to be finishing fairly soon. Also, Neeb will continue to shade it down to the bottom left side of the map. Neeb on the way across as the Reaper gets there. A couple shots off on gateways already. And the Armory of HeroMarine out on the map. So hiding the Armory away. Obviously, we have seen a few more of these drilling, not really drilling claws, but like Widow Mine drops with, of course, the invisibility on them. And that seems to be what this will be. Obviously, no tech lab or anything setting up. So that invisibility makes it a little bit tougher. There is an Oracle out. It'll be very important to keep this Oracle alive. It will need to use its, lower energy revelation to reveal those mines to help shut this down. This should be obviously holdable from Neeb, but so much of it comes down to the response and how it works and where things are at the right times and so on, right? So let's see. I guess definitely think step one is making sure this Oracle's alive, because if that Oracle goes down, you're instantly going to be in some trouble. As this Reaper is going to get lifted up here by the Phoenix, and then the second Phoenix is going to pop out and go for the Reaper. We'll take this. Oh, no, it doesn't get it down. There we go. Lifts it up, takes it down now. As the medevac building in the main, and just seeing the Oracle out in the bottom center of the map. A couple of Widow Mines from HeroMarine on the far right-hand side. Probe comes across, puts down a pylon. The medevac gonna go up the right, and Oracle goes into the main base, drops a Revelation, a couple Marines, the SCV. All of that's setting up as we do have the Robo on the natural expansion, and here come our Widow Mines gonna drop straight into the main base here. Obviously, again, they will not be revealed as they get shut down. But now this is the issue, right? Because these Phoenix are going to kill this medevac. They're going to lift the Widow Mine, so it won't do much. And there's the Revelation. So second Widow Mine gets shut down. Now here, when you don't build an Armory and just build 2 Widow Mines, right? There's absolutely going to be a second drop. And that's why Neeb doesn't go charging across the map. You know, he says, okay, keep the Phoenix at home, wait for the next one. For a while, I mean, obviously there gets to a point as well where HeroMarine can obviously wait this out himself. He's actually going to play a little bit of a trick here. Burrows the Widow Mines, leaves the medevac there, try and bait the Phoenix onto them. At least that would be something of a kill they might be able to get if that was to happen. Twilight Council on a natural expansion. I'm still just seeing our Oracle patrolling in the bottom right-hand side as the Adept comes in. It's just going to take the Watchtower. This probe of Neeb up to the top side, going to take the pylon as well. So able to get that set up as Stimpack +1 attack. All of this getting ready to go. And again, a couple of extra racks from HeroMarine. We'll just continue to build in the main base. So continue to build that up in the main. As the Observer will set out just above the third base. And again, the Oracle continuing through to drop another Revelation down. Another Revelation of Stasis Ward. So blocking the third base with the Stasis Ward. And Neeb decides that he's safe enough here to go into double Forge. 1-1 upgrades. And the Robo Bay to get those Colossi out. So Phoenix Colossi with 1-1 upgrades. And if you get that, it's very powerful. Especially against a Terran who right now is single upgrades setting up right. He's going to be very behind on upgrades here for sure. You know, the Colossi are going to do a lot of splash. The Phoenix count is looking pretty good. Those Phoenix are going to go spreading out a little bit as extended thermal lens. Building on the Robo Bay. Widow Mine's going to blow up this Phoenix, and then the other Phoenix were actually not nearby, so they are going to be looking for a medevac that's long gone by the time they get here. Drops the Revelation. Even the Widow Mine's got away, so Neeb's probably a bit like, huh, that's not great, as now he has got HeroMarine 2 medevacs moving up to the top. His fourth base he's trying to take already. Well, he will, I think, just grab a glimpse of those medevacs. Actually, maybe not. Now he will. Now HeroMarine's just going to make the dive into the main. Well, definitely some high priority targets. This pylon. Shut down some Forge upgrades. Maybe just, I mean, even just the probes, right? He comes straight in, gets 3, 4 workers already. Gets a pylon. Here comes Guardian Shield popping, and our Zealots, well, they're going to walk into this. They don't charge him because charge is not done, of course. Phoenix and Colossi initially a lot of tech. It is going to be a cleanup, and obviously these Phoenix will chase for a lot of the units as well. He will at least get this medevac. Now the medevac is, well, unloading, but it's going to start running the Phoenix here. It's a little bit out of sync. I mean, in the end of the day, he's going to get the job done. Maybe could have just finished this Marauder and then gone for it, but either way. 8 probes actually went down, so he lost a couple more. I'm sorry I missed whatever that was that came through. Looks like it was the Widow Mine drop again. So the Widow Mine drop came back in and got a couple of extra probes. So Neeb taking some damage, but he obviously cleans up a lot as well. When you look at resources lost, you actually realize this has been very expensive for HeroMarine. 3 medevacs, 4 Widow Mines, Marauders, Marines, you know, all very expensive stuff. These do not come cheaply. And, you know, you compare it to the fact he lost 10 probes. Yeah, that's a bit of an eco hit, but everything else is mostly surviving. It does feel like Neeb setting up on 4 bases is looking pretty good. Now, HeroMarine is just happy to say, cool, Ghost Academy, 2nd starport. Gonna play into my Ghosts and my Vikings to really fight against this. But as he sets up into that, you've got to remember this is kind of a, I mean, he's still on 3 bases. I guess the map is actually not so bad for this. There's a lot of ledges where the Vikings might get free pot shots. The other thing I would say as he loses a Phoenix here, Neeb, is it's definitely very choky, so those EMPs are likely to hit and hit well. And that's something that Neeb will have to keep in consideration as he goes to 5 bases, by the way. There's just no slowing down Neeb's economy at the moment, and HeroMarine almost feels like he's somewhat all in with 2-1 upgrades, because if he doesn't start another command center soon, he is going to be in some trouble, especially considering Neeb was trading better for the majority of this game so far. I mean, then you start looking at the income, etc. And, you know, Neeb's had that slight edge throughout. Only recently did HeroMarine get a little bit back when he forced some probes to pull away. It's definitely been a very Neeb-centric game so far as this Widow Mine cleans up a hallucination. These couple Phoenix just in dead airspace. They can't get picked off. Just watching for medevacs that come through the top side. Neeb's map vision is great. He sees everything pretty much. Not a lot to really fight the Vikings. He's going to lose a Colossus here very early. He'll turn and fight as soon as possible. SCVs are pulling, so it is indeed an all-in from HeroMarine. I can't really believe that Neeb has just sat here fighting this. He's going to warp in another big round of Zealots. Will that be enough? He's got 1 Colossus left. Dare I say, it probably will not be. He's also so close to 2-2, and he's just not there yet. And now Neeb probably doesn't have an army to fight this, so down an upgrade and still waiting for his 2-2 as he re-engages in right now. His Colossus, though, is doing a lot. Taking a little while for that to get targeted down. Now some extra Zealots showing up. Obviously, you've killed a lot of SCVs in this. If Neeb can just hold on. He needs something else, though, right? He needs more than just pure Zealots. Otherwise, he's just going to get kited for days. He does have a battery and a second cannon setting up here, but the cannon gets unpowered as the pylon goes down. Another pylon shot down as well. No reinforcements now allowed on this base. Blink about to be done. Okay, Neeb's going to give up this base. Remember, he killed a lot of the economy of HeroMarine, so I don't think it's the end of the world to give up some eco here. The Vikings actually going down as the new Colossus shows up, so adding some splash damage into this again. But there the Vikings just jump up into the sky, and they're going to be able to chase. There really isn't that much anti-air. There's a single Stalker, so the Colossus will go down. There's the extra Stalker showing up. They have Blink. New Colossus is in production. Another round of SCVs pulled by HeroMarine, but it feels like Neeb is maybe getting enough up to deal with this. Obviously, the Zealots will do a lot of tanking. He's actually adding an Archon in, which is great as well. The Archon adds a lot of splash, and that's something you can get off the gateways also. And now he's going to maybe get rid of some more of these Vikings as he continues to chase these medevacs just blinking in. Honestly, there's just not that much bio here anymore, right? It's mostly SCVs. Not enough bio to really hold off these Stalkers blinking in and chasing. Now the bio's going to show up. The Zealots are going to charge into the front lines. A couple Vikings off to the right-hand side. He's just going to ignore those, leave the Archon to it. The Stalker's still coming in. Every medevac will be going down, and Neeb is going to take a game number 1. Oh, they go a little bit scary for Neeb, but he is going to take that first map off of HeroMarine. Starting in the top right-hand side with that blue Terran, whose SCV pull just wasn't quite enough. He is HeroMarine taking on the red Protoss. In the bottom left-hand side, it's Neeb. Alrighty, so we've got ourselves a HeroMarine Neeb setup now for game number 2. This best of 5 continuing to deliver for the moment. Honestly, having some really good games today, guys. We're having some really, really good games today. It's been a lot of fun so far as the gateway sets up from Neeb in the main base, and we do see this probe coming around up to the top side to place the first pylon. So Neeb's going to spice it up a little bit with what feels like a second gateway and really piling up the pressure in the early stages of game 2. Now he's setting up the gateway here, so 2 gates getting ready to go. As we do have our chrono boost on the probes. I'm going to jump into this assimilator. HeroMarine, when will the SCV scout? Is this the SCV scout now? It should be. What else would it be for? This probe arrives at not too crazy of a timing, so there's not much to really kind of think about that right away. Obviously, the SCV scout's going to see the lack of a nexus, right? So yes, there's one gateway in the main. It's the lack of the nexus that becomes alarming. Or the speed of the nexus, right? Because there may very well be a nexus fairly quickly here still from Neeb at some point, but I mean, not if he's about to build 2 Stalkers or something as well, right? So yeah, this is just going to be no nexus, and then you get in there and HeroMarine's like, okay, well, bunker right away is oftentimes one of the ways to go about this. This probe pulled back and is going to come back in soon. There's one of those scenarios, obviously, where if you let this probe get too annoying, and if you let this probe set up like a battery or something, that alone can be kind of game-ending. As you just see a couple of Stalkers building up, and the probe backing away through the top side. SCV of HeroMarine in the main base to check out what's going on. Again, a little bit of a look around in the early few moments of the bunker from HeroMarine. Again, that's a necessity. Now, of course, you can play around the bunker. You can run past it as the Stalkers and so on. There's actually a Marine into Tech Lab, so no Reaper here at all from HeroMarine. That means the Marauder is going to come out. So the Marauder pretty quick, and maybe Concussive Shells too to help guarantee a kill or so. Because the Marauder is great, but as soon as you see a Marauder, you're like, yeah, okay, that's nothing. Oh, he's actually just going to, okay, he's going to cancel a Marauder. He's just going to go to the factory of the Tech Lab. Okay, so he's going to go to the factory here. I mean, again, he got a scout into the main. He saw the gas time, and he saw the Nexus time, so you should know it's 2 gates. The Cyclone's obviously great. Should be able to hold this off as long as it's microed properly. If you do end up in a position where the Cyclone gets targeted down, then you're in a bit more trouble. This is only one Marine in the bunker, though, and this is what HeroMarine should be very scared of, is Marine's going to evacuate. Okay, now you're in a position where actually you're going to have a Cyclone and nothing else, and these Stalkers can already start a target down. Well, actually going to go for this reactor in the back. It's actually interesting because you can't really deal with that or repair this reactor while it's still building. It's just going to finish in time as, wow, Stalker misplayed there. This Stalker obviously could have continued to back away and get out of range and probably survive. I'm surprised about the vision, but of course the natural CC is there for HeroMarine to have the full vision range for the range of the Cyclone lock-on. Twilight Council, Robotics Facility, both on the way up as a follow-up to this, and well, what did Neeb really achieve with this opener? Okay, you know, cancelled a bunker or salvaged a bunker. I mean, a bunker that he forced in the first place. I wouldn't really say much. HeroMarine starting to take a bit of an eco lead now. Stalkers actually find the Cyclone. Yeah, that'd be big, but there's a ramp up here, and maybe if he still had like 4 Stalkers or so, this would be even scarier, but this is also maybe even too late for it to really matter that much, right? Like, if this happened like a minute ago, lose the Cyclone, then you may be just dead as HeroMarine. But in this case, HeroMarine will survive for that a little bit longer. As a Dark Shrine sets up from Neeb. In the main base, the Dark Shrine building probe on the natural is a few Stalkers just hanging around on the high ground. Stimpack plus 1 attack upgrade coming through. This bunker of HeroMarine about to finish up. Marine can hop into that. I'm just going to be seeing the Widowmine continue to produce this Stimpack plus 1 attack. There's gas from HeroMarine and the natural expansion going to be finishing. Lots of setting up. I mean, Dark Shrine definitely has some danger, but the preparation from HeroMarine is good. I mean, he got across the map to scout. He actually did see the Twilight at least. Didn't see the Dark Shrine. It was too soon for that, but you know, already seen the Twilight, right? And just knows the possibility even of just there being a Dark Shrine. It means it's worthwhile building those turrets. Now, just builds 1 turret at the front, so if there is a prison, which there will be, that can still be problematic, as Neeb will just go for a couple of SCV kills here. So he gets 2 workers right from the start, and then continues to pull away as this medevac will go through the top side of the map. Neeb's next step is going to be the robo, but he actually just blinked into the main base. That was not the play. HeroMarine had units in that main. That was just not the play. DTs in the main base, though, absolutely would be the play right now. Neeb hasn't shown these DTs just yet, so yeah, especially if HeroMarine starts moving out on the map as well. He's got no scan available. Okay, he's got 1 scan available. I mean, this is dangerous territory, because, okay, you're probably expecting to get the other scan available as well, but yeah, he's out on the map as well, so he doesn't even have units to necessarily clean up these DTs right away. So the natural also going to be in trouble. Big Widowmine drop gets 9 probes, though, so now it's even more important that Neeb does get damage. Those 4 workers to begin. The army of HeroMarine starts to pull back. As you are going to be seeing 7, 8 SCVs killed. Prism saves this 1 DT, which will go into the main and will unload for an extra kill. And he just lifts up as soon as the scan comes down. The Widowmine drop didn't do so much. HeroMarine might have been in a lot more trouble, but yeah, that Widowmine drop even getting away alive. So 9 probes, that's obviously huge. And it actually, man, imagine he doesn't have it, then he's actually in a really bad spot. As it stands, HeroMarine's actually kind of okay still. The double mule only down by 5 SCVs is pretty okay. Finally, a Dark Template will fall in the main. Well, Neeb has the Stalker's position to help him deflect this Widowmine drop if it comes back, as we see the 3rd CC about to be done. Neeb has his own 3rd Nexus finished up and starting to saturate over the next couple moments of this. There is our extended thermal lance. Continue to come in. The Stalkers, a few shots already. Medevac gets turned away once again. I'm just going to be seeing Zealot, Sentries, Arc, Immortal, Colossus. All of this continuing to build as our bio army of HeroMarine will continue through the top side. Big drop in the main base as HeroMarine is going to force a recall here. The Colossus obviously kind of comes into an interesting point of this. It looks as though it's going to be okay. Storks will have Blink to try and chase the medevacs. He won't quite get it. It's the full medevac as well. As now HeroMarine finds the gateway out on the map, and it definitely feels like Neeb is taking hit after hit at the moment. HeroMarine able to come in and get so much damage done. It looks like you got a Stalker on this natural with the Widowmine drop, which was then cleaned up. Also finds, I mean, there's pylons here like every single game right nowadays in PvT. Just watching for the drops through the bottom side of the map toward that main base. I'm going to bring a Colossus back over toward the main, but there's nothing actually here just yet. Neeb's in a lot of trouble because he's also not got forges or anything, so he's fallen behind on upgrades as all of this happens. And that's one of the things which he probably would have been able to afford had he had those extra workers he's lost a couple times over now. But because he's been losing those workers, he can't afford the forges. And that's definitely very tough, as HeroMarine now knows it's Colossi 2, so he's going into a second starport, preparing himself for 4 Vikings at a time. And again, Neeb is just consistently playing in a little bit of a disadvantage in economy, right? This big spike here definitely helped. But that's really about it. That was when the DTs were obviously there and forcing SCVs to pull away. I mean, I guess that's been the best part of it for Neeb so far. The thing is, right now, Neeb is not even really building that many probes. He's actually not built probes in a little while, so I think he's just, well, I'm not just going to think. He is going to go across the map. As he comes back, he's going to pick up this Colossus to speed up this attack. And he's just going for this. No upgrades or anything. So now Neeb is completely all in on, I mean, 3 bases, okay. No gases or anything on that 3rd base. Well, HeroMarine just needs a defense. He's got 3 Vikings, now 4. He's got a few more in production already. Big DT warpins. They're going to morph into Archons here, I assume. And he's going to morph 2 into Archons. He's going to send 1 to the natural. I mean, even if you just pull a few units out of position, might just power up this attack enough, as HeroMarine about to have ghosts as well. He has ghosts, he has Vikings. I mean, the ghosts aren't going to be part of this fight right away, though. And he blinks up with the Stalkers, gets them into a bit of a better spot to begin. SCVs and the 3rd base just lift away immediately. There's that DT into the natural at the same time, so HeroMarine has to go deal with that. Archons get underneath the Vikings. Big shots on the Vikings, and that's bad for the bad for HeroMarine, because the Colossi now not going to be as threatened, as SCVs will pull into repair. So not many kills on the Vikings. That's a big deal. Well, Neeb only gets 5 SCVs. Now it's mostly from the DT. This army's going to come in again. Big EMPs going across it. There go the Colossi. They get taken down. So let's go charging into Marauders. Obviously, SCVs are pulled into this too. Neeb is going to trade out for all those SCVs, but his army's going to get crushed, especially with 1-1 upgrades of HeroMarine already well in play. And that's 19 SCVs lost, but an army supply deficit that this time, unlike the first game, Neeb should not really be able to overcome or figure out at all. RoboBay is still building up this disruptor as the Prism of Neeb going around through the top side of the map. A Zealot here is getting chased down. A couple Marines, Viking going in for it. Prism takes a turn back up through the top side of the map. Bio will unload already. This Bio will want to run up this ramp. Stalkers blink in for just 1 minute. There's just no way, right? I mean, even this force is kind of scary. Never mind there's units collecting on the left-hand side. So yeah, it's not really looking great for Neeb. He has a Disruptor. He's going to pray to the Disruptor gods, as that wouldn't do it. He was about to hit his own Zealots, and he realized it. Now there's a few units in the natural. Kills this this overcharge right away. I mean, yeah, he blinks in, but then the Stalkers can't blink away. Then the units on the 3rd base are back. I mean, this is just pressure that Neeb will not handle at all. HeroMarine will take game number 2, and will tie this series 1-1 in the best of 3. Tied up. In the bottom right-hand side, we do have our blue Terran player. This is HeroMarine. On the top left, our red Protoss is Neeb. Unable to really get going in that game, right? Every time Neeb did damage, HeroMarine had already dealt damage. There was never a chance for Neeb to do damage to get ahead or to get a lead. It was always Neeb doing damage to maybe stay in the game, and in the end, the damage he did was not enough. Obviously, the big part of that was the fact that we had that first kind of the proxy gate open, and I feel like even that wasn't super successful. It also wasn't super bad for him. As then he took the mine drop, and the DTs came in. That was a shame, and yeah, it just got a bit of a mess. We're going to see the probe out down to the bottom right, as we do see the Raxes finish it up in a few moments' time. Probe gonna nibble the SCVs. And the Reaper will be starting already from HeroMarine as well, so getting that up, getting that going, as we do just see the probe of Neeb out around. Trying to block the CC, it gets down instantly. 140 on the dot. No problem at all for HeroMarine. And Neeb just not in the right position. And not to say that that's a shaky start or anything, but it's the little things, right? And right now, the little things not looking so hot for Neeb. Cybercore finishes up in the main base. We do see the warp gate already on the way up as we see the Stalker Chrono boosting out. Again, quarterfinals here. I keep thinking this is the semifinals. It is the quarterfinals here of the ESL Open Cup. The winner of this would play Raynor in the semifinals, whoever that may be. And on the top side, Lambo and Clem are playing in the round of 8. The winner of that plays against Showtime. I think that's also a great matchup. I just kind of fancied this bottom side today. I feel like I've casted Clem Showtime like once every week in these events. It was a bit fresh casting some Neeb and HeroMarine and Raynor a little bit more in the earlier stages, so it's been good fun. Reaper hops up. It's not going to do much in that walled off area, and just going to be seeing our Twilight Council and Robo as the setup right now. So Twilight and a Robo right away. Perhaps some aggression here from Neeb. It's not the worst map, and also not the best map, I'd say, for blinking in. You got to blink in from these minerals, so you don't blink in very deep. So if you blink in, you're like blinking into the edge. It's very limited in what you can do to blink in. So let's tell you how many gates we get up to and how aggressive Neeb wants this to be. For the moment, it might just be 3 gates, right? And if you get up to 3 gates and just go from there, there's nothing too crazy about that. Oh, whoa, it's charge? Hello? Wow, charge first is just not something you've seen in a long, long time. A few players, you know, for example, Rail used to actually open charge first a lot in PvT, and that was actually way before the full-on blink meta, which is kind of what we're in right now, very blink-heavy meta game, but charge first is kind of, well, it's bonkers, right? The thing is, you see this and you scout this as HeroMarine, and right now you're like, okay, he's going blink, you know, you open an extra Stalker to help against this Reaper, and you are not quite going to get the kill. You shouldn't be able to get, I mean, you open even more Stalkers now, but the idea of this is that you're going to, you know, have a real push at the front, and HeroMarine is going to be setting up into stuff that's going to be positioned in the main to defend, and that's not really where you need to be. I guess the plan is to warp in 3 Zealots and then 3 more, and then go with 6 Zealots. 6 Zealots of charge with a few Stalkers behind definitely has some power. He sees a Marine, which he can get rid of just by chasing with the Stalkers, so he'll get rid of that. Hasn't warped in again just yet. He'll add the Temple Archives too, so perhaps even the Archon being added into this as we see the Prism wanting to make its way toward the main. Stalkers dropping down, helping to protect the Observer, which does get away alive, and now 3 more gateways, so bit of Stalker pressure with the Prism, and then eventually the plan seems to be to maybe hit like a Charged Lot Archon attack. Reactor Tech Lab both taking some hits right here at the moment as the Marauders coming through. Stalkers still taking a few shots, doesn't quite get the Reactor. As SCVs pulling and don't get there in time. Oh, it's a dead Reactor, and that's the factory rebuilding, so no Widow Mines to worry about. That's actually huge. Oh no, I mean, even the Starport swap into the Reactor would have been a big help as well. The Liberator goes across the map. Man, this is, okay, none of this is how I expected it to look from Neeb. Now he's getting into a 3rd Nexus. Now he's going Storm. I mean, it's just a 3rd Nexus off, what, 6, 7, 8 gates? And he's probing as well. Okay, none of this makes sense to me. Like, none of it adds up, right? None of it adds up to the point where it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, a 3rd Nexus, bit of a delayed eco, but then a powerful push maybe? But with Storm, pushing in with Storm is never super ideal. Yeah, I honestly just, I'm a little bit, you know, overall, right? Like, if he goes Storm, okay. I get that he needs 8 gates when he gets up to 3 bases, right? But to not go 3 bases, then 8 gates is kind of the weird part, right? Like, if he went 3 bases, then went up to these 8 gates, I don't think anyone's questioning anything. But he went up to 8 gates, really heavily stuck on just, you know, 45 probes. He's adding a couple probes now, and now he's going into that third. It's, again, it all feels like it's a little bit of the wrong way around. I don't know what Neeb's really getting from doing things in this order. I mean, HeroMarine now seems very aware. Good scan, sees the Templar. He knows what's up, right? So he already knows kind of what's happening, and that means that in reality, he just gets a Ghost Academy, and he's setting up nicely. Yeah, it's a weird one. HeroMarine's up a bunch of workers right now. Obviously, just killed some probes with this Liberator, which is going to survive the Stalkers. The Stalkers not having Blink is an issue here, and they're not able to kill the Liberator because of it. It's going to get away. Oh, it just gets worse and worse, it feels. It really does feel like it's just getting a little bit worse and a little bit worse as this Prism comes out over the right side. Bio will go up the left with the Medivacs. Army of Neeb will continue down the right. We do see the Bio on the left going to pick off this Pylon. So Pylon will go down with the Prism. Still Chrono boosting out. Zealot's going to the main base and already going to charge through for a bunch of SCVs. So 4 workers already killed. I mean, now there's a double drop in the main base. And what's this one High Templar going to do? Battery overcharge? Well, it's not going to die right away. Oh my god, no. He's going to live to drop the Storm. I mean, some Zealots across the map kill 7 SCVs. He's stopping the third from mining. I can't believe this. High Templar lived. He lived to drop the Storm. Well, there's a bunch of Storms still over here. EMP hits a few of them, though. That's massive. Hits 3 of the High Templar, takes away 3 or more Storms. Oh, that is huge. I mean, at least Neeb is kind of controlling this now as SCVs just ran through the Storm. But there's no reinforcements here. The Zealots needed to be here a little while ago. Honestly, with Zealots, this is very scary. There's so many Marines in the natural. Well, now there's no Storm. It kind of feels like everything is just... It feels messy from both players. You know, HeroMarine has Marines in the natural, but then Neeb's losing his Storms. Now he has no Storms when all the Marines show up. I mean, some extra Zealots come running across the map to try and reinforce this. Another round of Zealots warping in, but this is basically pure Zealot. I mean, with 3 Stalkers and 2 trailing High Templar, running up a ramp against +1 attack, and drops a bunch of feedback before he starts the Archon, but I just don't see Neeb having the units here, and he's just not. GG's out. HeroMarine is a bit too good today in the quarterfinals, and he will get a rematch of last week's final against Raynor in the semis.